Hi everyone, my name's Karima. Welcome to the Kari P Show. This is my first individual YouTube show video. So I hope you guys enjoy. Please like and subscribe. And all right, so let's get into it. So happy holidays, by the way, y'all. So we're going to talk about a little bit of everything that happened. Politics, let's just go there. So I'm going to be staring off to the side because my computer is here and I made my notes and stuff. But just bear with me, okay? I'm right here with y'all. Right here. We're in it together. Anyways, so Trump supporting domestic terrorists staged a coup at the U.S. Capitol. And then Trump was banned from numerous platforms because of what he said and the way he was behaving. And let me just side note, like, Trump is good business-wise, but he sucks as a politician. I just need to put that in there. And I'm pretty sure he felt like he could actually run America like it was a actual, like, business. Not to say that it's not to a certain degree, but it just comes off as if he thought that it was going to be that simple and it was going to be that easy. So he was just like, oh, I could do this. And then, no. Anyways, so Biden was sworn in as president and immediately signed 17 executive orders, most notably to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord, halt drilling in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, terminate permits for the Keystone XL pipeline, and restore protections for national monuments. He also told federal agencies to begin reviewing and reinstating over 125 environmental regulations that were rolled back in the previous administration. So y'all, Biden rolled up in that White House, he was like, I'm going to undo everything that Trump ever did. And that's how he started his new year. Now, moving forward, for World Health purposes, United States of America surpasses 26 million CD cases. Y'all know how to read between the lines. YouTube be tripping. Like, I don't need to post my videos to know YouTube be tripping when they don't be allowing you to say certain stuff. But CD, you know what I'm talking about. The total number of cases reported worldwide hit the 100 millionth mark, according to Johns Hopkins University. Anyways, celebrity news. Let's just get to it. Kim and Kanye is reportedly over. So Kim Ye is done. And Kim just kind of seemed to be like, hey, and Kanye kind of seemed like, like, I don't know how I feel about this not married type lifestyle. And so yeah, but we know as the year progressed that things changed. But like, that's where we're at. We're still in January. Hold your horses. Then we have Halsey, the music artist. She announced that she was pregnant. Meghan King. Now, Meghan King, you guys will know from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She went through a lot with in vitro fertilization and stuff, but then she had her children. And what happened? I guess they had like she didn't feel supported. She felt like she was on her own with the whole situation, and her husband wasn't really there much. So I guess that started the rift, because they seemed to kind of be in a okay place before that, but seemingly there was a rift because she was kind of on that journey by herself. I don't know. You guys will have to ask her. By the way, when you get a meeting with her, hook your girl up. Just saying. Anyways, so she and Will Bruce, Rose, I don't know. Just bear with me, After they basically had their coupleship. Coupleship for me is when two people get together, they feeling it, they ready to say, okay, yeah, here we on dates, we official, we taking pictures, that sort of thing. And then maybe they have their like celebrity publicist or something, like put out a statement to be like, hey, yeah, we're done with one another. I don't know, but that's coupleship to me. Now, Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey. Now, y'all gonna probably come for me, and I really don't care, but I don't remember exactly what the name is of the actor that played that role. Not the actor, the character that Michael B. Jordan played in Black Panther. Kijo, something. You know what I'm saying? Rival, enemy of my man, Black Panther. Like, the late, like, megastar Chadwick Boseman. Okay, I loved him as an actor, y'all. Like, I really did. I loved him as an actor. And it's so sad that he passed, because I feel like he just was scratching the surface. I know a lot of people said that, but I feel like he really was. Now we have some album releases. Jasmine Sullivan, we haven't seen her for ages, honey. Okay, she is back. Jasmine Sullivan released Beaux Tales, Beaux, honey. I don't know how to pronounce that, but however you love it is how I like it. So let's go. Then Zayn, he released Nobody's Listening. We haven't heard much from Zayn, so Nobody's Listening isn't a stretch to a certain degree, okay? Don't come for me. Papoose, if y'all don't know, is Remy Ma's husband. Remy Ma is a star of Love and Hip Hop New York. You guys know her. She went to jail for a few years due to some case and stuff like that. I don't want to get all into that. Remy Ma is doing her thing. She's out. She's been pushing new music. Papoose was, you know, real supportive of her. They had a baby together. You know, so Papoose released an album that is entitled January, I believe. So yay, Papoose. Music videos. FKA Twigs, Heedy, One, and Fred Again released Don't Judge Me. Sweetie featuring Doja Cat. We all know that video. Best Friend. And Lana Del Rey released Chemtrails Over the Country Club. To be honest, I only listen to the Saweetie and featuring Doja Cat, Best Friend. I will get into that in another video about how I feel about music and everything. Okay, environmental. Moving on, shall we? So, Trump plans to sell license for gas drilling as well as oil drilling in the pristine Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. I don't understand what it is with Trump and the environment. It's like he don't realize that he really need it. Like, I don't understand, like, why would you feel like you should just destroy everything? Like, just, what are you doing? What are you doing, sir? Like, did you not get any fresh air when you were a kid? Did you not get to go places? Did you not get to experience stuff? Did you not? Were you just stuffed inside a boardroom 24/7? Because that's what it feels like. It feels like you're just taking all things on the environment because you can, not realizing that you need it. Okay, you need it. It don't need you. You need it. Right? But anyways, a lot of people are like that. A lot of celebrities are like that. A lot of regular folks like that. Anyways, moving forward. Okay. Now the U.S. is beginning to move forward with the new year. Of course, this is January 2021 with a new national park. The nation's 63rd national park is also the first ever in the state of West Virginia. But here's my thing, right? I think what you could do is you could say, all right, fine. Take out 500 acres, okay, worth of all of that national land. You don't have to actually give it to the person for them to utilize because you want to ensure that it remains protected. So I get all of that. That's fine and everything. But I feel like to a certain degree, how about you go ahead and like charge admission to that national forest and you give a portion of that ticket sale to the actual individuals that are a part of that national forest ownership. Do you feel me? Like, is that too much of a stretch? I feel like we could meet each other, but to just say you ain't gonna do nothing is not okay. Just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. By the way, I'm not saying I'm entitled to it because I'm not even from here, but I still feel the way I feel. Anyways, moving forward. So, social, y'all. Let me tell you something. It's crazy about so many different things that has happened. Like when I was looking up these months and stuff, like it's crazy the amount of information I came across, and I had to dwindle it down because I know after a while it's just going to be seeming like encyclopedic. That's not a word, but hey, if Bootylicious could get in the dictionary, then so can that. All right? Okay? Yes, I said so. Love you, babe. Come talk to a girl. Anyways, so for social, California, Delaware, New York, Iowa, Oregon, and Utah, okay, passed the ban on police chokeholds. And it's called the Eric Gardner Anti-Chokehold Act, which I feel like this is something that to me should have been done like ages ago. Like it shouldn't take the public outcry. It shouldn't take the protest. It shouldn't take the life of individuals for the US government to understand that this is not okay. Okay, it's just not. And I don't understand where people get off thinking that treating individuals in a very inhuman way is acceptable. I don't get it. Whether you have a badge or you don't, like, treat everyone with respect, respect of human life, respect of the entitlement of having human life. Like, where do we get off as people anymore, where we just feel the need and the desire to just go ahead and treat people however we want to treat them? Totally wrong. I don't understand. But anyways, moving forward. So voters in Arizona, Montana, New Jersey, and South Dakota approved measures legalizing marijuana for recreational purposes. Okay, I'm here for it. I'm all the way here for it. As long as you are an adult, and I really don't feel like 18 is like an adult. I feel like you should be at least 21. Like, let's do it at 21. Like, we all know that the human brain doesn't finish developing like until I think it's 24, 26. However, I think that 21 is a good age to kind of be like, okay, so this is really what adulthood looks like, right? I feel like that's what we should do. If you can't drink before 21, I think you shouldn't be allowed to use recreational anything. Okay, I'm just saying, like, but in regards to this, the difference is that this is an actual herb, and it's been used for thousands and thousands upon thousands of years. It's ingrained in certain cultures, in certain beliefs, in certain religions, in certain spiritual practices. So I think that's where the complication comes in. Do you have to be an adult to be able to utilize something like this? Because to a certain degree, some people, it's not only about, I guess, smoking it, because you can strain it, you can draw it like a tea, stuff like that. You could use it as a tincture. There are so many different ways in which you can use it. So it's difficult to kind of be like, okay, fine. You have to be an adult to use it. And I say 21 because of the fact that I feel like 21, you're able to kind of say what it is you really want for yourself and the way in which you want it. But that's just me. So, yeah, but light up, people. Oregon, the first state to decriminalize the possession of small amounts of street drugs, such as, y'all get this, cocaine, methamphetamines, okay, and heroin, or heroin. Every time I hear heroin, I think Hermione Granger, but okay, yes, Harry Potter fan over here, people. But anyways, so that's crazy, don't you think? I think so. Like, I don't understand the concept. Like, so we feel like these drugs that actually kill, they should be decriminalized, but marijuana, who didn't ever kill, ever, okay, people are spending years in jail for, blows my mind. I don't understand what they do in the criminal justice system. Okay, I do not know. I do not understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I studied criminal justice. I have my bachelor's in criminal justice. Okay, I still don't get what they're doing. Anyways, so then New Hampshire will make multiple changes to state laws regarding sexual assault. The definition of sexual assault now applies to any sexual contact between school employees and students, right, between the ages of 13 and 18. I just gotta say, I thought this was common sense. I don't understand, like, where do society blows my mind. Society leaves me speechless, okay? Leaves me completely speechless. How is it that this is not common sense? Like, these are children. Children cannot consent. I thought this was common sense. So to hear that they now will make changes to state laws makes no sense. How were these laws not in effect from the beginning of time? Like, blows my mind. Okay, anyways, moving forward. Colorado will prohibit landlords from refusing to show rent or lease housing based on a person's source of income. Okay, now there's some other stuff to go with that, but Y'all, when I saw this, to be honest, I laughed because I was like, it literally is just saying, mind your business, okay? Mind your business. That is what it is saying. It's saying mind your business. So if you are a drug dealer and that is how you make your money, okay, your prospective landlord can't say jack, nickel, or penny. Okay? So I gotta read between the lines. Oh my gosh, my poor little Mike right here. He be getting beat up because my hands just be going all over the place. I talk my hand side. Then, last but not least, for January, okay, Connecticut employers must begin taking deductions from their employees' paychecks for a new paid family and medical leave program under a state law passed in 2019. The state's estimated 100,000 businesses will be responsible for withholding 0.5% from worker wages. I'm sorry, but no. What I think is the companies that have upwards of X amounts of employees, what they need to be doing is they need to demand that these companies actually withdraw from their profits, okay, a certain amount of money, the same 0.5% they're talking about, let them withdraw it from the profits, okay, and let it be under the cost of doing business. That's what I think. It's like that's your expense budget. That's a part of your expense budget, your cost of production, whatever it is. But I don't think you should take it out of the employees' cut. What? No. 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 Okay, moving on to February. So, politics. Here we go again. Okay, the drama continues, y'all. Okay, so the United States Senate votes allow President Biden's 1.9 trillion relief package. 3 days later, the Senate passes a 1.9 trillion budget for CD relief. The second impeachment of Donald Trump begins. The second one. But this is the funny part. He is acquitted 4 days later. 4 days. 4 days. Do you see that? 4 days. This is just ridiculous. For me, that was for show. It was just for show purposes. They were like, okay, we got to make it look like we actually care. We actually give a damn. So this is what we're going to do. And that's exactly what they did. Moving forward, in Fort Worth, Texas, 6 people are killed in an accident involving 133 vehicles due to weather conditions left by a snowstorm. Y'all, that's crazy to me. 133. Moving forward, the United States Senate votes by unanimous consent, okay, to award the United States Capitol Police officer that we all heard about, Officer Eugene Goodman. Like, he got his Congressional Gold Medal for keeping rioters away from the Senate chamber during the storming of the Capitol, which happened in the previous month. Now, a major winter storm kills 58 people, right, in the United States and 12 in Mexico. NASA successfully lands its Perseverance rover on Mars 7 months after launching.
Ask me why this made it in February. Why do I care about that? Just keep watching. The U.S. officially regains, okay? I swear, y'all, what I got is water. I ain't got no wine, okay? I'm a lightweight. I never really used to be a lightweight, but I'm a lightweight now. And I surely didn't smoke anything. But it's just a matter of, like, just ridiculous. Complete ridiculousness, okay? Like, every time NASA comes around, it just... It's like, can we deal with the stuff we got going on here on Earth, where we actually live, versus having to explore space? And then you talk about you don't have no money to be able to offset hunger or something of the sort, but you have money, like millions, billions of dollars to actually spend up in space. Make it make sense. Okay, I'll wait, no problem.
Moving forward, okay? Now, the U.S. officially rejoins the Paris Agreement 107 days after leaving. Now, the Paris Agreement is instrumental in us not burning the hell on up, okay? Like, and that's just what it is. That's what it boils down to.
I can't tell you how much information I came across where it just said we are in the red zone. And it wasn't like a situation where it was saying like, oh, in the next 10 years, it's going to be bad. Like, and then we'll be in a red zone. No, honey. We passed amber. We are now at red, okay? I don't know what come after that. Maybe black? I don't know. Some people have the attitude of, well, we all have to go one day. And yes, that is true. But how do you want to go? Would you go out there purposefully and stand in front of a train or a bus? No, you wouldn't. You would make sure that you're watchful and you're cautious when you're walking the streets, when you're going in your car late at night. You're taking precautions to secure your life. This is no different. So I'm not like an environmentalist head or whatever the case is. But I do think it's important, and I think the more that we prolong this whole no it's not is the more damage that we do. So now we could fix this. We could spin it around. Mother Nature is very forgiving. Like, if she wasn't, we wouldn't be here. So let's just get it together.
Anyways, moving forward. So, New Jersey is the 14th state to legalize recreational cannabis. New Jersey. Who would have thought? Like, I wouldn't. Then the Supreme Court rejects Donald Trump's shielding of his finances. Y'all, Donald Trump just seems to like overtake the whole of last year.
But he just seems to have just confiscated the year all to himself. And it's just, it bewilders the hell out of me, to be honest. Because most times you'll find that, like a president, when he is spoken about a lot, it's because of something that he's done, which has brought about like magnificent change. And then it's the other part of, okay, so he's in a situation where maybe he had, passed. Or like, we have to remember that president, he's on the tip of our tongue every single second. Donald Trump, it was the total opposite. It was, this man don't ever shut up. But I told y'all before, like, I think Donald Trump's problem outside of morals is the fact that he thought that he could just run politics like he ran boardrooms. And that's not the case. It takes two different know-hows, two different characters, two different personalities, two different methodologies. It just takes a whole lot. So no, like, but I don't think anybody kept it real with him. I think everybody was just like, oh, yeah. Just hold that position for me, okay? Like, that's what I think. I think it was kind of like, oh, yeah. So, now moving forward.
The New York governor, Andrew Cuomo, is accused of sexual harassment. I got nothing to say about that. When y'all watch me enough, you'll read my facial expressions. But I'm gonna let it go, okay? Because that's a whole different topic. World Health. So the number of vaccines administered in the US exceeds 50 million. 50. Johnson & Johnson's vaccine candidate receives emergency use authorization from the FDA. Celebrity. Let's get into it. So in February, Kamala Harris's Vogue cover sparked a lot of backlash. It was the talk of the town, okay? Like, basically, everybody was talking about how poorly they depicted her on the cover of the magazine in comparison to so many others. So for me now, I'm thinking to myself, like, when I saw everything blowing up on the internet, I was like, what is this about? And then I went online and I saw it. I was like, this is what they came up with. I was like, I can't. Because here's my thing, right? There's a way in which to represent the grace, the authority, the power, okay, the importance of a person in a certain arena or arenas, okay, and have it look aesthetically beautiful as well. And I think they just did not know what to do. Megan Thee Stallion and Partisan Fontaine confirmed their coupleship.
I didn't feel like that was something that was going to happen. I just kind of felt like it was something that it just wasn't. I'm being honest. I felt like it was just going to be like for the next 2 years, she was probably going to be dating, but not seriously. But I think when you go through something stressful, like what she did with Tory Lanez, like, and the entire world, I think it just was probably that was what kind of pushed her into like a relationship sort of a thing. I don't know, y'all. I don't know, Megan.
Now, Avril Lavigne and Manson sparked dating rumors in February.
Now, let me say this. When Avril Lavigne was out, oh my gosh, I loved her so much. I'm telling you, like, Avril Lavigne, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, they were killing the game back then, okay? And so even just to see her name, like, in a headline in any regard is so crazy to me because it was like, she just left, you know?
But, anyways, moving forward. So, actress Evan Rachel Wood alleges that Marilyn Manson sexually abused and groomed her as a teenager and 4 other women make similar claims. Y'all, let me tell you something about Hollywood, okay? Hollywood has its goods and its bads, but its bads are freaking rotten. Like, if you have children that are getting into the business, you have got to be there 24/7. You have got to be there on the spot. If they're here, you need to be right here, okay? Because there are too many stories, right, where children are coming out in their adult years with so many issues and so much trauma to heal from, and talking about the sexual abuse that they suffered at the hands of people who were in the industry, that they were around, that they went to a meeting with, that they were invited to a party, and this is what happened, and then they were blackmailed, and then they were scared, and then they were put on drugs, and then they became addicts. It goes on and on and on. Y'all, watch out for your babies in this industry, please. Next, golf champion Tiger Woods ends up in a car crash. Founder and CEO Jeff Bezos steps down and names Amazon Web Services CEO Andy Jassy as his successor.
I never thought that he would have did that. I'm sorry. Okay? CEO Jeff Bezos? Like, he'd been running Amazon, his company, for donkey's years, but I think because Amazon has kind of just had its, like, full speed ahead ever since it introduced that 2-day shipping, baby. Can't live without it. It's spoiled me rotten. But just saying. I think for me, it was just a matter of, like, I thought that he would have wanted the spotlight more. But I guess he wants to go into space and do extra stuff. I guess he's bored. I'm just saying.
Music-wise, okay, so The Weeknd, or as his parents named him, I bet y'all didn't know this, Abel Makonnen Tesfaye, or Tesfaye. Abel Makonnen Tesfaye. Anyways, he released his album, The Highlights. And Rita Ora and Iman Beck released Bang. Robin Thicke releases On Earth and In Heaven. Sia releases songs from the film Music. Kelly Rowland releases K. Sam Smith releases Live. My bad. Willie Nelson releases That's Life. I'm sorry, but I'm so surprised at the Willie Nelson.
Because Willie Nelson is like 164. So for him to be releasing music is so cool to me that he loves it so much, you know? Anyways, environmental.
The World Food Program, WFP, on Tuesday warned that 1.7 million people are in the emergency category of the food insecurity. And then limit the Earth's temperature.
It's rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius within a century, y'all. That's the main focus. 1.5 degrees Celsius. Like, we got to cut it down. You feel me? Can't go above that. You know? And so that's why there's like a lot of initiatives and stuff to get the whole thing together. And this is big, okay? 2021, it seems like world leaders kind of just got themselves to a point where they were like, oh my gosh, we have got to do something. Forget politics, forget this, forget that. We got to save Mother Nature, okay? The polar bears are dying. It took seeing polar bears being emaciated to have something going on, right? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Why is it we always wait for the last of the last of the last to get something together? I don't understand. Why? Why can't we just act on it like we are witnessing it? Like, why do we have to have this debate? For the longest time, global warming was not taken seriously, okay? You had this party not believing in it, this party believing in it, this and the third. And for me, what it boiled down to was money. Because if you said, yes, this is what I believe is happening, I agree that this is something that, you know, needs our attention, then that means that you've got to diverge funds to that department. But if you act like it don't exist, if you say that's not a problem, then guess what? You don't have any funds to diverge. You don't have to cut the budgets and allocate funds. So that's where we're at. Ain't that crazy? Anyways, moving forward.
So, for social, right? Myanmar's military seized power in a coup, which led to the detainment of civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi and other government officials.
I'm sorry, but I just had to read that one more time. I was like, wait a minute. I don't want to say chop suey, so we had to make sure we read that correct. Okay.
Now, countries in West Africa went on high alert after reports of an Ebola outbreak in Guinea were released. So it's not enough for us to be going through what we're going through with CD. Okay? Mother Nature said, hey, had this too.
And Russia recorded the first case of H5N8, which is the avian flu in a human. This is crazy to me because in my mind I'm just like, why is it like almost everything that has ever been scary in terms of like diseases and stuff, like contagious diseases, it's just showing up in 2021. I don't understand.
Then the US officially called for the removal of Eritrean troops, citing a human rights violation. At least 25 people died after hundreds of prisoners planned an escape from a Haiti prison. Nearly 200 prisoners succeeded in their escape.
But it's just so unfortunate. And I don't know what happened, but Haiti has been through so much. So it's been affected in every single way imaginable. And I think it's just a matter of the fact that, like, it's on unstable grounds right now. It's shaky, you know? In every manner, okay? Because they just went through a lot. The earthquake, I believe, we get to that and stuff. But yeah, so they've gone through so much. And they're still trying to survive. So it doesn't surprise me to hear something like this.
Next, a man was charged with 6 counts of murder after fatally shooting 5 adults and 1 child. What in the neighborhood is going on with people? I don't understand. I thought 2021, honestly, I thought with the fact that everybody is now facing some sort of real threat, okay, common threat. This is not how much money you got in your bank account. This is not about if you're unemployed or you employed. This is talking about like a health crisis. I thought that a lot of people would have went ahead and they would have gotten themselves together and they would have said, you know what, I gotta make sure that I care for my loved ones. We gotta look out for each other. Maybe I was hoping for a kumbaya moment. I don't know. But, and not to say we didn't have those, because I think we did to a certain degree. Maybe we called our family members more, we texted them more, we spent more time with them virtually. But I just don't feel like some people got that memo. You'll see why. Hold on. No, icy conditions and blinding snow caused a car crash of more than 20 cars on a Nashville road. Then Porsche sets its 4th Guinness World Book record for indoor land speed. All electric Taycan car reached a record 102.65 miles per hour.
Like, if y'all cared. It just thought of me. I was like, I better be nice to these big ass companies because I may want them to give me a little sponsorship deal, you know what I'm saying? So let me take that attitude on back. I'm lying, y'all. Listen, some things just it's just raw and unfiltered. Like, I could care less. Okay? I don't see it. Anyways, moving on. So,
politics again. Against the CDC warnings, Texas Governor Greg Abbott lifts the statewide mask requirements and allows businesses to open at 100% capacity beginning March 10th.
Boils back down to money. Like, why are you doing that? Like, literally, why are you doing that? It's ridiculous, if you ask me. Right?
Anyways, the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 is passed and signed into law by President Biden the next day. The family of George Floyd, the man murdered while in police custody, settles their lawsuits against the city of Minneapolis for $27 million. $27 million ain't enough. The U.S. surpasses 100 million CD vaccine doses administered. The U.S. and China hold talks in Alaska to discuss relations with topics ranging from Taiwanese security to Black Lives Matter. Y'all don't get me started. The Arkansas Senate passed HB 1570, a bill that prohibited normally functioning and physically healthy minors from puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and genital and non-genital invasive surgical alterations. Okay? And we'll discuss that in a whole nother video. Now, a judge ordered 3 men charged with plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer to stand trial.
That's what we're doing in 2021. Plotting to kidnap people. I can't. No, I can't. Now, both
houses of the New York State Legislature passed a bill to legalize recreational cannabis in New York. President Biden unveils a $2 trillion infrastructure plan. Hawaiian floods leave 1 missing, destroy 6 homes, and force evacuations, and leave 1,300 individuals without electricity.
Now, moving on to celebrity. There was no news. Come up with so much. It's like all the celebrities stayed inside saying kumbaya. okay? Like, and just watch YouTube. But you want me to tell you something? A lot of them found their behinds on YouTube 2021, okay? Then they have been knocking YouTube bloggers and vloggers and hosts and whatever you want to call them on YouTube for years, but that's what they found themselves doing. So that's the celebrity news for March. Okay, moving forward. Album releases. Drake is Sax's Hours 2.
Okay, Tory Lanez, it's Playboy. Nick Jonas, it's Spaceman. Selena Gomez is A Revelation. Lana Del Rey is Chemtrails Over the Country Club. And then Carrie Underwood is My Savior. Then environmental. Countries globally dim their lights at 8:30 p.m. local time for Earth Hour.
Totally missed that. Totally didn't have no clue about that, okay? Or else I would have done that. But I did not know. Your girl was left out of the loop.
Anyways, moving forward. Coral reefs are in grave peril and the consequences of their extinction could be catastrophic. Yeah, them little cute, squiggly looking hard plants in the ocean, okay? It could be catastrophic. They support more than a quarter of all marine life. A quarter, people. A quarter, okay? But 90% could disappear by 2050, largely as a result of climate change. Can you
believe that? By 2050, 90% of coral reefs could disappear completely, and they affect a quarter of marine life.
Now, Cancer Alley in the southern United States, known for its pollution-emitting chemical plants, should be halted, according to a large group of independent UN human rights experts. Okay? And they classified it as environmental racism. All right, then a blizzard in Colorado brings over 24.1 inches. Okay, that's 61 centimeters of snow. All right, then tornadoes in Alabama kill 5 people, destroy several homes, and cause thousands of power outages.
I'm telling y'all, like, the environment wreaked havoc. CD was only one part of it that we experienced like crazy. Like, everything else started to act up. Okay, it's like the world was having an allergic reaction to human beings. Okay, and it just got to a point where it was like, oh my gosh.
All right, now moving forward. Social. All right, a male suspect shot and killed 8 people, mostly Asian American women, after targeting Atlanta massage parlors. And he had planned on doing more, hitting up more parlors and killing more individuals, which I think is just so sad. Dr. Fauci gave a briefing in Washington, D.C., stating that the new CV variant, first identified in the UK, is now in the US and rapidly spreading. 1 person died and another 7 were injured after a shooting occurred at a Dallas nightclub. Then, New York City schools announced that they plan to reopen the high schools. At least 2 people died and another 8 were injured after shooting occurred on Virginia Beach. Various senators called for Cuomo to resign after 7 women came forward with sexual assault claims. Today, the IRS and the U.S. Department of the Treasury and the Bureau of the Fiscal Service announced they dispersed approximately $90 million in the economic impact payments from the American Rescue Plan. $90 million, okay? The IRS then went ahead with the joint chiefs of global tax enforcement, other heads of state, okay, to come together and actually find investigators that would be able to investigate cryptocurrency crimes and scams and stuff and extortions and things of that nature. All right, moving forward. 3 people are killed and 1 injured when a small plane crashes in Pembroke Pines, Florida. Like 8 people are killed and 1 is injured in a trio of shootings at spas in the metro Atlanta, Georgia area. The trial for Derek Chauvin, a former police officer involved in the murder of George Floyd, begins. 10 people are shot dead at a supermarket in Boulder, Colorado. It's the 3rd deadliest mass shooting in the state's history after the Columbine. Adam Toledo, a 13-year-old Latino boy, killed by an officer of the Chicago Police Department. I'm sorry, but what the hell is going on? Like, I still can't get it. Like, I don't. Anyways, 4 people are killed and 2 others, including a suspect, are injured in a shooting at an office building in California. Guys, now we're on to April. The Ella happened in March, okay, as you can see. But now we're on to April. Now, April politics. The state of Arkansas becomes the first state to ban surgery, hormones, and puberty blockers for transgender youths, right? Next, President Biden requests Congress to authorize $1.5 trillion federal spending plan for 2022, which includes an emphasis on public health as well as major research and science funding. Now, the U.S. House of Ethics Committee announces that they have opened an investigation into Representative Matt Guyetz, Florida, over sexual misconduct and federal sex trafficking, y'all.
Now, let me tell you something. I nearly fell out when I saw this. And it's not like we don't know it's around us, because we do. We know it's around us. We know that people are capable of so many different things. And for me, it's not a matter of the fact that it's happening in the world. When I was in school, like, I really actually was so passionate about human trafficking. So passionate. I wrote a whole thesis on it. And so it's not as if I am, like, ignorant to it being there. But I think for me, the problem is that I thought that it would have been a situation where we wouldn't have people in these types of circles. Representative of Florida, like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think we would have these types of people actually facilitating. And here's the thing. It's not like I didn't even know that people in high places do it. I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware of people in high places doing that. I so am. So that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is I kind of expect to some degree it'll happen in the music and entertainment industry. It'll happen in Hollywood. It'll happen in the drug, business. But for a politician, it blew my mind.
All right, so World Health. The U.S. government terminates a deal with Eli Lilly and Co.
Right? Doesn't that sound like some Bath and Body, like, we're competitor? Like, it just sounds like a product, like, you'd just be like, oh, what are you wearing? I'm wearing Eli Lilly and Co. Yeah.
Furthest from it. The U.S. government terminates a deal with them for 350,856 remaining doses of the single antibody bamlanivimab. I would say, hold on, y'all. Let me get this right. Bamlanivimab. Okay? The girl got it. Right? That were scheduled to be delivered by the end of March. So the U.S. government terminated Eli Lilly and Co. for them doses. Now, President Biden announced an update on the deadline for all states to make all adults eligible for the CD vaccine. The CDC says that fully vaccinated Americans can go outside without wearing a mask unless they are in large crowds.
I completely disagree with that. And when I say completely, I mean completely disagree with that. Because I feel like whether or not you're vaccinated, you're still able to get the disease. That's number one. You're still able to spread it. So what is the point of you not having your mask on? Like, you being vaccinated does not prevent you from contracting the disease, or the virus, I should say. Like, it doesn't. It does not. So for me, it's kind of like a situation where you're telling people, hey, you could go ahead once you get, a little chick. You could go ahead and, be out in, places and stuff and not wear, okay. But that is the reason why, even after people have gotten the little juk, they literally go ahead now and they're in a situation where they have it because they caught it, because nobody's taking the precautions that they were taking pre-juk vaccine. Okay, so I think that's a problem for me, personally speaking. Like, wear your mask, okay? When you're in the privacy of your home, I can understand taking your mask off, getting fresh air when it's just you outside and the rest of the world is sleeping. You're not coming in contact with nobody. I can understand that, but I just kind of feel like you still need to take precautions whether or not you are vaccinated. That's just me. Take precautions. Like, y'all, goodness. Okay.
Now, the U.S. will begin restricting travel from India, right, due to rising cases of the lineage B1617, which originated in the country.
Traveling, y'all, I'm so anxious about travel. Like, I really am. I'm so anxious. And it's not like I'll be going anywhere, but I'm so anxious about it because you're locked in a plane. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you do your testing, and yes, you do this, and yes, you do that, and all these extra stuff, and that's good and everything. But you never know. Like, there's room for error, so somebody could have read the test results wrong and you print it thinking that you don't have it, and then you give it to somebody else. Or maybe it's a staff member that you come in contact with that has it. Or, have it, but it's still not like completely out their system. And then you're like stuck in this big long box, okay, where it's just recycled air. I don't know. And maybe somebody could explain the science to me, to say that it's not recycled air, but I kind of just think it is. And then they've made planes super compact now, so it's like you really don't have as much room as you did like 15 years ago. I don't know, guys. Anxiety. Okay.
So, for celebrity, Jana Kramer filed for divorce from retired NFL player Mike Cosio. Or Causon, sorry. Oh my gosh. The eyes are playing tricks on me. Okay. All right. Moving forward, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck rekindled their flame.
Okay. Like, y'all know, it's been eons. They've gotten married, they've had kids. It's been one thing after the next. But you know what they say. They always say if it's meant to be, it will be. Like, and you know, the heart wants what the heart wants. So even after all these years, if they found a way to come back together, I hope they stick it out, because to be honest with you, like, I am not trying to come back here and report that Ben and Jen is finished, broken up again. Okay, ain't nobody has time for that. Like, I do not want to have that. You know, like, I want for them to be able to settle down with one another for the long haul. So Jen, Ben, let's get it together, okay? No.
Pete Davidson and Phoebe Devenor, I think that's her last name. Oh my gosh, this is so bad.
Anyways, she is the star of Bridgerton. If y'all have not checked out Bridgerton, I don't know what planet y'all are on. I don't know what it is y'all doing with y'all lives, but you have got to give that show a chance, okay? It's available on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's available anywhere else. But, listen, y'all go check it out. It's really good. The characters have depth. The storyline is good. Also, the acting is amazing, okay? Like, I am not wanting, like, in any way, shape, or form from any of the characters, in terms of their acting. So go out there, go, you know, check them out, see what's up. Like, I'm pretty sure that y'all are gonna be like, oh my gosh, yes. You know what I'm saying? Oh, by the way, hit up in the comments if you wish that, like, the storyline didn't quite finish the way it did in season 1 for the 2 lovebirds. Like, I cannot be the only one that wants them to like come back in season 2. Like, I understand why that won't happen, but it doesn't mean that I have accepted that it won't happen, if you feel me, okay? I cannot be the only one in the comments. Like, y'all go ahead, hit that comment section up and let me know what you think.
No, Superman, okay? Superman is off limits, okay, honey? He is locked away in that little spaceship of his, okay? Flying to his new home with his new girl, Natalie Viscuso.
They went Instagram official. So listen, if y'all are interested in finding you a superhero, you gonna have to look past him, because he is taken, okay?
Now, Lily James and Michael Schumann are in a coupleship. And last but not least, I'm sad to announce that Dmx has passed. I mean, you guys know this, but it's still sad to, you know, have to basically announce it for being included in April. It's so unfortunate, y'all. Like, he was really and truly, like, putting in the work to reinvent, reshape, recraft himself, and also reintroduce himself to the world, because we know so much of his music, but we also know so much of his struggle with, like, addiction and depression and everything in between. And personally speaking, like, I feel like, you know, from the research that I did, this album that he was working on was going to be his kind of, like, billboard, no pun intended, but, you know, this was going to be his billboard for his embrace of self. He was really putting himself out there. He was really getting himself together, and he made so much progress. He did so much work, and it's just so unfortunate that he was not able to see the fruits of his labor being reacted to. So I'm pretty sure he felt amazing for the most part in the journey of creating the album, but he didn't really get to see how the world would take it in, how we would juice it, how we would be inspired by it, how we would feel about it, how we would react to it, how our energy would be. Like, he didn't get to have that type of loving that I think he really would have had he still been here and he released his album. But nonetheless, like, he was showered with a lot of love. A lot of people cared about DMX. Like, he had amazing fans that were there through thick and thin. The people in the rap game, they respected him, they respect him, and he'll be respected for years to come, you know. And it shows just in terms of his album, because he had so many features from, like, some big heads. Like, they all wanted for him to win. And I think it's unfortunate, but we gotta take a win where we can. And one of those wins was, I think he had experienced probably a peace and a happiness that he hadn't in a long time. And so if he went out and he was in a good space with himself and he felt great and he was looking forward to you know, just embodying more of what he had created for himself, then that's a good space to be in. I would rather him in that space than be in the opposite space while he's still battling with so many crazy things and can't get himself above water. So yeah, let's just remember him whenever we talk about rap. You know, let's not try to downplay his contribution. Let's not try to downplay anything that he did. Like, if you don't know who DMX is, like, go listen to one of his old songs and then go listen to his album. If you don't know you know, any of his new music, but you're a fan, like, it's hard to listen to, I get it, but just go ahead and give it a listen anyways. But that goes for our celebrity section. So now, guys, we're going to move on to album releases. Now, moving forward, a lot of people came out with albums, like, and I don't understand why. It's not I don't understand why, it's just that I don't know, like, it just seemed like so many people put out music in 2021. Like, I don't know, maybe people had epiphanies and that inspired them to put out music. Maybe so. Anyways, Demi Lovato, love her voice. Dancing with the Devil, The Art of Starting Over is the album she released. Justin Bieber released Freedom. Taylor Swift released Fearless, Taylor's version. Paul McCartney, he released McCartney 3 Imagine Pretty Summer Playlist. McCartney 3 Imagine. Saweetie, okay, released Pretty Summer Playlist Season 1. She's really feeling herself. Snoop Dogg, From the Streets to the Sweets.
Sweet, you know, like, not sweet as in candy, but, you know, like hotel room, companies, etc.
Gucci Mane released Ice Daddy. And DJ Khaled released, of course, Khaled.
I don't know why, but I don't think he would have picked any other name, y'all.
Alright, environmental. Now, people working in the petroleum industry or living near one are at increased risk of cancer, according to a new report by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Okay? Now, the International Atomic Energy Agency said that it will work closely with Japan, which is preparing to release 1 million tons of treated salt water that was used to basically cool the Fukushima nuclear
power plant. I know, y'all, like, the International Atomic Energy Agency, first and foremost, I didn't know we had one of those. Like the fact that we do, but didn't know we had one, okay? Now, for me, at least, I don't know how I feel about you releasing, like, 1 million tons of salt water that was used to cool Fukushima nuclear power plant. And I'm not saying, like, okay, so where is it supposed to go? Maybe they should invest in machinery that can, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Maybe Jeff Bezos need to find a way to take all them chemically exposed, toxic environmental waste and put it in some other planet, okay? That we ain't gonna never use. I don't know, maybe that's what we need to do. Or maybe we just, I don't know, because how do you do that? Like, where do you go from there? I don't know. I just don't know, y'all. This environmental thing is so stressful because it's kind of like everything that, practically all the things that we use on a day-to-day basis and we're forced to use has an environmental impact. So it's kind of like, okay, how do you work around that? You know, like, how do you work around it? How do you make sure that you're not polluting the environment? You know? But anyways.
Social. President Biden gives his first address to a joint session of Congress, encouraging them to pass $4 trillion worth of spending bills, including the American Jobs Plan and the American Families Plan, both part of his Build Back Better plan. Build Back Better.
The amount of times I've read that Joe be asking for more money. But at least he's asking for it and he has certain things he's going to put it to use for, versus he could just be asking to ask, just to make a headline here or there, or to put it in his own pockets, okay?
The United States Capitol car attack happened. Y'all, what is it with the Capitol? You know, first it was a coup, then it was this car attack, where it actually injured 2 police officers, One was taken to the hospital and then he later died, which is so unfortunate. And then the suspect was killed by the Capitol Police. 6 people are killed by gunshots at a house in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And the shooter was former NFL cornerback Philip Adams. And he later committed suicide.
You know, the thing about it is like, sometimes you see, like, this is really extreme, right? It's really extreme. It's like, whoa, that happened out of the blue. Like, you know, like, he just lost it. A lot of these guys who play these very, very dangerous contact sports, they suffer physically. And sometimes the physical damage it creates mental damage. And I don't know if you guys watched a movie that was based on a real life story. Concussion, starring Will Smith. Go check it out if you haven't. But for the longest time, the NFL did not want to acknowledge that there was any danger to a player's brain whenever they were in contact with one another. Oh my gosh, I hope y'all didn't hear that. That's my stomach growling. Woo! I haven't had anything to eat in like ages. Let me see if drinking some water will help me out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What I have my back. Not a day over fabulous. Thank you, Sue. Love my cup. Anyways, so, like, people oftentimes who are in this contact sport, have you seen it? Like, it's so barbaric at times. The way they be clashing with one another, the way they be doing this, the way they be doing that. It's so crazy to me when I witness, sometimes I used to only watch NFL just for the purpose of actually watching, like, the Super Bowl halftime show. That's the only time. But to be honest with you, it's like a lot of these families behind these athletes will tell you, like, there's a difference between their behavior before they got into football to now having been in football, especially professional football. Like, maybe the personality changes. It could be certain character traits that disappear, certain character traits that do appear. Like, the brain is a very delicate thing. And I never forget, in the show, the doctor basically showed physically what happens to the brain when it has been hit with direct contact. Like, it's common on the field. And what he did was, in like a jar, I think it was like a mason jar, he put like eggs in there, like just some regular eggs, not hard-boiled eggs or anything, just regular raw eggs. And then he shook it really hard, like, and he was like, and then you just see the eggs just break apart, the yolk is just all over the place, and that was representative of what happens to the human brain. So stuff like this happens. Like, you know, a lot of these individuals, there's stories that you'll probably never hear of that happen in between a home, between him and his children and his, you know, wife and, you know, a girlfriend, or, you know, where maybe he was the most sweet individual on the face of the earth, a total teddy bear, okay? And then, you know, after a blow, like a very, very hard blow, like, he started to have certain, I don't know, tics. Like, he was very irritable, or, you know, he started to become abusive, or he started to lash out and having violent outbursts. Like, I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people who go through that, a lot of people who are going through that, and or have been through that, and it's as a result of their significant other playing in a sport such as this. But anyways, let's move forward.
Police officer Kim Potter killed a black man in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota during an attempted arrest following a traffic stop, leading to rioting and looting in the city in the subsequent days. He resigned and was charged with second-degree manslaughter. Just crazy, y'all. Crazy, okay? Then the Chicago police released graphic footage of an officer shooting a 13-year-old Adam Toledo in a dark alley. Camera footage was revealed, which, you know, oftentimes does not happen, but it just so happened that this time it was, which I'm really appreciative for. Then 9 people are killed, including the shooter, and 7 injured in a mass shooting at a FedEx facility in Indianapolis. It's so crazy, like, when people never just stay at them yard and just chill and just relax and just Then we have another 16-year-old in Columbus, Ohio, who is shot and killed by a police officer, Officer Nicholas Reardon. Okay? And then Derek Chauvin is found guilty on all counts in the murder of George Floyd. And I know a lot of people were thinking that wasn't going to happen, and you had a lot of people who were hoping that it would. And I can't even say that justice was done, because I feel like this was like an after the effect. It should have never happened in the first place. That would have been justice. Justice would have been somebody saying right then and there, you cannot do that, okay? You cannot do that. And George Floyd being alive. But it just so happened that that's not what happened. It didn't work out that way for whatever reason. You know, people didn't speak out loud enough. People didn't, the officer that was there just went along with it. It was just justice would have been done if justice actually took that into consideration and prevented his death. So I look at this and it's like, okay, that's the next best thing. That's all we could ask for at this point. But was justice done? I don't think so. I don't think him being found guilty is enough for me. I don't. I feel like an overhaul of the system, like an overhaul of the entire criminal justice system from top to bottom, rooting out all the officers who've ever had complaints, all the officers who they're coming in contact to a civilian or even another officer was left basically physical injuries and stuff. Those officers need to be called out. Those officers need to face repercussions. Those officers need to think to themselves, man, if I slip up, I'm definitely losing my job. Not, man, if I slip up, then I have this blue wall that'll help me out. No. That justice is overhauling the entire justice system. And has that been done yet? No. And will it be done completely? No, I don't think so. But it is just the fact that that's what I think is necessary. So that's what we're going to go for. And this may be the start that catapults everything. So we got to take our wins where we can, I guess. Then for the Oscars, Chloe Zhao's Nomadland wins 3 awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Frances McDormand for Best Actress. David Fincher's Mank leads the nomination with 10, while Anthony Hopkins wins Best Actor for The Father, becoming the oldest winner in an acting category. Crazy. Then Daniel Kaluuya, Best Supporting Actor for Judas and the Black Messiah, and Yo Jong, Best Supporting Actress for Minari. Okay?
Now, y'all, so far, hope y'all are enjoying the show and everything. Just press that like, press that subscribe, because this again is 2020 recap. This is the 2021 recap, okay? And we need it. We need to see exactly what laws have been passed, what bills have been put to Congress and the Senate, and this and that, and what's going to be affecting your life in 2022. We need all of that. We really do. And it's unfortunate that, you know, I didn't put this out earlier, but y'all, we need this recap, okay? Like, you need to know what's going on, what's going to affect your life, what's affecting it now. Like, you need to have this, because not everybody can sit down every single second of the day and watch the news. There's certain things that happen, like, when I was doing my research, that's when I found out about it. I was like, where was I? You know what I'm saying? So, if you can, like, go ahead and share this video and stuff like that, and let's get down to the meat of it. Let's continue. We may now, y'all. May. Okay. Right? By the way, I should have been shouting out all the people with birthdays up in these months. January, February, March, April, now May. Y'all, happy belated birthday. Okay. Moving forward.
Now, in May, okay, Lubbock, Texas votes to become the largest city in the U.S., okay, to ban abortion with the sanctuary city for the unborn. South Carolina House votes to add firing squad to execution methods. South Carolina would become the 4th state to use firing squads after Mississippi, Oklahoma, and Utah. Why? Just explain to me why. It brings back the barbaric nature of execution. And execution, like, some people believe execution is wrong, some people believe execution is necessary, and however you feel about it is how you feel about it. Now, if you are someone who is in support of execution, it does not mean, okay, that it has to be barbaric in nature. Like, what was the point? What was the point, okay, in developing all these other avenues, okay, outside of a firing squad as a means to execution? What was the point of it? What? So you have lethal injection that they somehow perfected, okay? Then you have the electric chair, which is kind of outdated too. But, like, why are you going back to firing squads? I don't understand. So the U.S. Supreme Court agrees to take up Dobbs v. Jackson, Women's Health Organization, a Mississippi case on abortion rights. So y'all, 2021 had a lot to do with abortion laws and bills, right? And I feel like this is not just a woman's issue. This is a human issue, because this affects everyone. It doesn't affect just one, like, individual or multiple individuals from the same sex. No, this affects everybody. So you guys need to know exactly what it is you're looking into. Okay, like if you plan on living in these places, you got to take note of certain things, and it is what it is, right? And like I said, it's a very touchy subject, but I think at the end of the day, like, you have to be aware. You can't just have your like qualms about something and just be like, I have my qualms about it and that's just all that matters. I don't want to entertain a discussion about it. No, you have to entertain discussions. You have to have a deeper understanding of the realities of which we face, because like it or not, you could have your opinion on what it is you would or you would not do in certain situations, which is up to you. But at the end of the day, guess what? There are other people who have way more of an influence on your life than you. Okay, regardless of if you want to admit it or not. So make sure that you know exactly what you're stepping into. Make sure you're aware as to what bills are being, put up for voting, and what things have passed and what things have not, and what's being signed into effect, and when does it take effect, and where does it take effect. Make sure you know. And this is why I wanted to do this recap, because our lives have been affected so much, but a lot of people, they haven't been in the frame of mind to keep abreast on certain stuff. And so if they could just get like a wrap up thing in totality, I think that would be something that my gift to them, my gift to everybody, including myself, for us to be able to step into 2022 much more aware, right? Now moving forward, so Tennessee Governor Bill Lee signs public school bathroom bill HB 1233 into law. The bill specifies that schools must comply to reasonable requests made by students and staff to provide them with access to a reasonably private bathroom that is restricted to occupants of their same sex. President Biden waived sanctions placed on Nord Stream 2, a Russia pipeline. The waiver is for both the company building the controversial pipeline between Russia and Germany and the executive and ally to President Putin. The pipeline is already 95% complete. President Biden announced that he was giving U.S. intelligence 90 days to research the origins of the CD. Again, Biden said they will focus on whether or not the virus originated from animals or was man-made and escaped from a Chinese laboratory. The CDC announces that 50% of the American adult population has been fully vaccinated. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention state that all fully vaccinated people can resume activities without wearing a mask or physically distancing, except where required by federal, state, local, tribal, or territorial laws, rules, and regulations, including local businesses and workplace guidance. Now, celebrity.
We needed a break, y'all. I'm happy we're on the celebrity segment. I am.
John Mulaney and Olivia Munn are in a coupleship. Okay, a small plane crashed into a Nashville lake, killing at least 7 people. Tarzan actor Joe Lara and Christine Diet Guru Gwen Shamblin Lara were on board and presumed dead. That's so unfortunate. Now, album releases. 21 Savage released Spiral from the Book of Saw soundtrack. Why does it just sound like all of that just is like a horror movie description? 21 Savage, Spiral from the Book of Saw soundtrack. J. Cole. Haven't heard about J. Cole in a while. The Off Season is his album. Blake Shelton, Body Language. Pink, All I Know So Far, set list.
Oh my gosh, dude, I love Pink. I love Pink. I love Pink's like fierce attitude. I love her confidence. I love her voice. There's so many things I love about Pink. But I think one of the things that when I actually fell in love with her was when she released Dear President. When what is his name? George Bush was in office. I think it was George Bush that was in office. And she's like, Dear President. Yeah, I'll go listen to that song. I have so much respect for her.
Then we had Young M.A. Haven't heard about anything from her either, and her album is called Off the Yak. And then DMX released Exodus. The late DMX. Now, environmental. Australian biologist Sasha Dench has been nicknamed the Human Swan in recognition of her record-breaking 7,000 kilometer paramotor, right, flight, tracking swans across 11 countries.
If y'all cared about that, then great. Okay, the Human Swan.
Annual investments in nature-based solutions will have to triple by 2030 and increase fourfold by 2050 if the world is to successfully tackle the triple threat of climate, biodiversity, and land degradation crisis, according to a new UN-backed study.
Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, the environment is on red, people, okay? I am not kidding. It's on red, okay? Like,
then it goes on to say, odds are increasing that the annual average global temperature will rise beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels in at least one of the next 5 years.
y'all, that's scary. That is not something to be taken lightly. That is scary. That is scary. And it may seem like 1.5 degrees Celsius is small, but in truth, it is really not. Y'all really need to get up on it, okay?
Now, swarm grids, an innovative technology designed to work with renewable energy sources, are bringing reliable electricity to some of the world's poorest and remote regions for the first time, providing a major boost to the livelihoods of those who live there.
It's important. And here's the thing. Some people look at it and be like, well, that happened on the other side of the world, so it's whatever, right? But in truth, that's not the case. Like, everybody is in the same fight. Okay, everybody. We're talking about your food sources being depleted. We're talking about it's too hot for your behind to go outside. We're talking about the fact that you're going to have to be buying, not because you desire, okay, you want to live a healthier lifestyle. No, you're going to be needing, okay, humidifiers. You're going to be needing, okay, air purifiers. You're going to have to be wearing masks to go outside. Right? Not because of some virus, but because of the fact that the air quality is so poor. We're talking about increased medical bills. We're talking about, listen, I think to a certain degree, a lot of us have an attitude where we do our due diligence when we recycle our plastic. And that's it. And it goes beyond that. It's the products that you use. It's the way that you eat. It's so many different things. It's everything right now matters, guys, because for a long time, we didn't care. We fell out of touch of nature. We stopped respecting nature. And nature is now fighting back in an effort to preserve itself. But it's not preserving itself for the sake of us. So we have to do what we have to do, and we need to do it quickly. But that's just what it is.
Okay, moving forward now. Methane emissions caused by human activity can be reduced up to 45% this decade, thus helping to keep global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius in line with the Paris Agreement. All countries should commit to zero carbon emissions by 2050 if the world is to avoid a disastrous 2.4 degrees Celsius temperature rise by the end of the century. Okay? All right, social. 7 people are shot dead at a birthday party in Colorado Springs. What is going on with Colorado? Colonial Pipeline cyber attack. An oil pipeline in Houston is hacked by DarkSide, causing the pipeline operator to shut down its entire network. The source of nearly half of the U.S. East Coast fuel supply. A mass shooting in Hialeah, Florida, leaves 2 dead and 20 injured. Somewhere cyber attack hits several beef processing plants and slaughterhouses in Utah, Texas, Wisconsin, Nebraska, and Pennsylvania. You see what I'm talking about? Russian firm Revil, REVIL, has been accused of being the perpetrators of the attack. Now, a mass shooting occurs at a Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority rail yard in San Jose, California, leaving 10 people dead, right? Including the gunman who committed suicide. These mass shootings, y'all, it's crazy. New York City mayoral candidate Sean Donovan is arrested during a protest near the Holland Tunnel. Protests break out across the country to mark the first anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. A suspicious package is sent to the home of U.S. Senator Rand Paul. The incident is being investigated, or was being investigated, by the Federal Bureau of Investigations and the United States Capitol Police. You know what? I think with this situation, everybody tried dealing with it in their own way. And unfortunately, some people just turn to crime and violence. I'm not trying to minimize the losses that have happened, but I think with everybody facing this of stepping into our new normal, I think a lot of people dealt with it they dealt with it in unhealthy ways. They probably had some people probably had psychotic breaks, and some people were just kind of like, okay, so this is what we're gonna do and this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna keep it moving. But this it's just unfortunate because people respond to stress differently. Everyone knows that, right? But I feel like when everybody is going through a cumulative stress, it is more dangerous. It is more life-threatening because there is a sense of helplessness there, right? In a situation like this, I think everybody kind of had like a very like running away from it. There's no getting away from it. Everybody's struggling to figure things out. And I think to a certain degree, everybody was just kind of looking at it like, dang, this is it for me. So why not go out and just act reckless? Why not just do whatever? Because life's ending anyways. And people are actually thinking like that. So I hope to anybody listening that's out there, like, just remember that as it may seem grim, as it may seem hopeless, nothing lasts forever, and nothing is 100%. And what I mean by that is, you're never going to have like 100% of bad days. You're never going to have 100% of good days, of great days, of perfect days. But you will have a mixture. And what you're going through right now may be really bad, maybe horrific. And that's understandable, right? You have to know that. You have to acknowledge that. It's not like it's going to be there forever. It's not. And the day is going to come where you're going to be happy that you survived it and that you lived in a way that you probably never lived before. Maybe you didn't take life seriously. Maybe you took it for granted. And in going through what you went through, you can appreciate life more. Just try to find a positive in this messed up situation that we've been forced into. Just try to find a positive. But there are people out there who I am sure care for you, and even if you don't feel like people care for you, start caring for yourself. Okay. But y'all, don't give up. Just stick around. Okay. 2021 is practically in the rearview mirror. We're stepping into 2022, so we're moving forward, and we don't know exactly what life looks like 2 years from now, even a year from now. We don't know what that looks like, but we just have to keep our heads up. We have to. We don't have a choice. We have to. That's one thing you have to do, is to keep your head up and just try to have positive thoughts. So as much as I'm reading this and we're seeing how much happened in this past year, what we've been through and the struggles we face and the people we've lost, and we still have to be mindful that we're still here. And because we're still here, we have the ability to move forward. So don't forget that. Okay. Now moving forward, remember I was talking about the Florida representative, Matt Guyetz. Okay, listen. He pleads guilty to 6 charges of sex trafficking. 6, y'all. 6. There were 2 shootings in New Orleans that left at least 2 people dead and another 5 injured. Now moving forward, a 12-year-old girl shot and wounded 3 people at an Idaho school. The victims consisted of 2 students around the same age and a staff member. How'd she get the gun?
Now we're in June, y'all. We got in there. We're in June. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I hope y'all are liking it so far. Please like and subscribe. Share this video with somebody who you know needs to know what the hell is going on. Okay?
All right, moving forward. So in June, District Judge Roger Benitez overturns California's ban on assault weapons.
Assault weapons. Why do you have assault weapons? Listen, I understand people's right to bear arms. I do. I get it. It's a constitutional right. Problem. The right is being abused. Okay? If you say to me, there are guidelines that you have to follow. If you say to me that there are certain things you have to do in order to be able to acquire a firearm, I'm like, okay. But when you could just go into a Walmart in certain states and just purchase a weapon, right? There's a problem. What are they buying it for? First and foremost, what are they buying it for? Okay? What are they buying it for? Because some people probably try to tell you, oh, they're buying it because they want to hunt. Okay, so you have hunting rifles, right? I don't think people should be hunting at this point in time, because I don't see how hunting is a recreation activity. But hey, that's just me, okay? Why not have hunting rifles? Why are you going out of your way to buy an assault weapon if you're not planning on inflicting bodily harm to someone? Can we meet in the middle? Okay, can you say, okay, fine, you have a right to bear arms in a governized way. So no, Walmart, you cannot sell guns just like that. No, X, Y, and Z. No. No. It needs to go through proper channels. People need to have their a license, I think. It's like you have a driver's license. You need to have a license to carry to own one. Not just carry one, but to own one in the first place. Okay? Then you need a special license to go ahead and to carry. And that is only if you're on the job. I think if your firearm is confined to your car and your home, that's acceptable. But I think once it's on your person, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. Because then that to me utters spontaneous usage. And with spontaneous usage comes tragedies. Because in a split second, you may go to carry your, to take out your firearm and start shooting. And once you shoot, you can't get that bullet back. So I suggest that we figure out a way in which to make things safe all around. Because it's not okay for you to send your children to school, thinking that you're going to see them when they come home, and then they don't come home. Because some fool, bought his rifle at Walmart and left it on the kitchen counter at home, and his nephew took it to school and it unfolded. No, I'm sorry, I'm not for it. I'm not for it at all. So we got to figure something out, but that is not it, okay? That's not it.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott signs Texas House Bill 1927, eliminating the requirement for Texas residents to obtain a license to carry handguns, either concealed or openly. I didn't even know that was coming up next, y'all. Politico obtains a recording of William Braddock, GOP candidate in a Florida congressional seat, threatening to send, get this, a Russian and Ukrainian hit squad to fellow Republican opponent Paulina Luna to make her disappear.
Where are we getting these people, y'all? Where? Tell me where. Where are we getting them? How are we, in what world do you see a politician threatening another politician, to get and send a Russian and Ukrainian hit squad to make them disappear? Which world? Which world? I cannot think of one. We're in one. Who does that? Is he a politician or is he a gangster? Is he a thug? What is he? Like, did he watch too much Assassin's Creed? Like, has he been just doing too much GTA? I don't know. But that is somebody who deserves to be employed by the government or in any sort of capacity, have any authority. Nowhere. He just needs to be benched permanently. Like, that's how we handling disagreements now? You in government. You in politics. Politicians are supposed to have, patience galore. That's all you really should have as a politician. In your number one spot, number one priority is patience, because everybody is going to be trying your behind. Every single person is going to be trying your behind. So for you to be in a situation where now you be like, this is how you handle disagreements? What kind of...
President Biden signs a bill making Juneteenth a national holiday, an official federal holiday, mind you, right? Which I am happy for. Juneteenth does not get respect it deserves, so let's just start there. But there's a lot more that needs to be done, and so just Juneteenth just being signed, it's not gonna cut it. Anyways, moving forward, a grand jury in Manhattan indicts the Trump Organization as well as CFO Alan Weisselberg.
Trump, still around, still knocking his boots, still here, and we in June, people. We are in June. 6 months, y'all. 6 months, and we still hearing about Trump. All right.
Okay, so World Health, CD vaccines. Moderna seeks full approval from the FDA for the Moderna CD vaccine. The FDA approves the first new medication since 2014, semaglutide, for chronic weight management. And Aducanumab, the first new medication for Alzheimer's disease in 20 years, is approved by the FDA.
So for people who are interested, like, just to put in there, because them names is all out of, I don't know, people. Why couldn't just get some easygoing names? But anyways.
No celebrity. Comedian Bill Cosby's sexual assault conviction is overturned by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, paving the way for his release. Now, let's just think about that for a second, okay? Personally speaking, I thought that he would have spent more time before getting released. Now, Renee Zellweger and Aunt Anstade are a coupleship. Millie Bobby Brown and Jake Bon Jovi, couple. Jake Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi.
Y'all, I promise you I had no sorrow. That was spiked today. I promise you. I so promise you. Okay? Like, but yeah. So that's Jake Bon Jovi's Bon Jovi's son. Okay? And him and Millie Bobby Brown are in a coupleship.
And then Casey Musgraves and Cole Schaefer are a coupleship too. Uma Thurman and Justin B. Smith, the Bloomberg Media Group CEO, coupleship. Lena Dunham and Louis Felber, coupleship. Okay. And then I have to put this in there. Minnesota Vikings defensive tackle Jalen Twyman is shot along with 3 others while visiting his aunt in Washington, D.C. Anyways, album releases. Lloyd Banks released The Course of the Inevitable. Migos, Culture 3. BTS the
best. Oh my gosh. BTS, listen. BTS got everybody going crazy. Except for me. But BTS is like, for some people, what the Super Bowl is for this nation. It's crazy. People go crazy over them.
And then her, H-E-R, Back of My Mind. That's what she released. Doja Cat released Planet Her. And then Tyler, the Creator, released Call Me If You Get Lost. Environmental, y'all. The Maine legislature passes a law mandating the state governments completely divest from fossil fuels by 2026. If signed into law, Maine will be the first state to do so. Okay. Now, an outbreak of wildfires begins in Arizona due to thunderstorms, okay, producing dry lightning coming through the state. 13 people are killed in Alabama during a tropical storm called Claudette. 10 of the victims died in a single car crash, 9 of whom were children. That's so sad. An EF3 tornado strikes the Illinois cities of Naperville, Woodridge, and Darien, destroying 12 homes and damaging an additional 100 and injuring 6 people. A United Nations body is recommending that Australia's Great Barrier Reef be included on a list of World Heritage in danger. But remember, I had told you previously that coral reefs are on the verge of being extinct. So when I talk about patterns and stuff like that. Anyways, land degradation from climate change and the expansion of agriculture, cities, and infrastructure undermines the well-being of 3.2 billion people.
3.2 billion people. You know how much 3.2 billion people is, y'all? Oh my goodness.
Now, the health of children, adolescents, and expectant mothers worldwide is at risk from the illegal processing of old electrical or electronic devices. And this is by the World Health Organization. Europe has just had its chilliest spring in years. Is cold comfort for the planet amid rising greenhouse gas levels, which will bring negative impacts for generations to come. Leaders, religious, social, and environmental, are launching the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration.
God, this is not something small, okay? Like when you see a whole bunch of people from a whole bunch of heads of state coming around at the same table, trying to talk things through, you know, okay? So, as much as you may not be pro-environment, don't be anti-environment. You feel me? Like, you could be Switzerland, but just still do your duties that you can, okay? Just saying.
Now, invasive pests spread, another fallout from climate change.
That's the problem. Climate change affects any and everything that you could think of. So, because of climate change, pests are increasing, it's being spread, which makes it more difficult for food production, food growth, development, and so the whole of the agricultural industry is going to be suffering.
All right, moving forward. Okay, record-breaking pressure cooker heat wave hits Canada.
I ain't lying, y'all. That's their words. That ain't mine. That's their words. Record-breaking pressure cooker heat wave hits Canada. And we all know Canada is freaking cold as can be. That's what we hear about Canada. We only hear about how cold it is. We never hear about its warmth. Okay? It just, we never. So to hear pressure cooker heat wave in Canada is like, oh my gosh, scary.
Social. A firefighter is killed and another injured in a shooting at a Los Angeles County Fire Department station in Santa Clarita. Paul Allard Hodgkins, a Tampa man who was seen in the U.S. Senate chamber, during the coup of the United States Capitol, pleads guilty. The FBI announces that it has opened an investigation into Postmaster General Louis DeJoy over campaign fundraising, right? No, we're still talking about Donald Trump, but Facebook's oversight board, announced that Donald Trump will be banned until 2023. Okay. Twitter announces that they have suspended the account of American scientist Rebecca Jones for spamming and platform manipulation after she paid other users to follow her. YouTube announces that it has suspended U.S. Senator Ron Johnson for violating their policies about promoting unproven alternative therapies to treat CD. American intelligence specialist Reality Winner, who was convicted of 2008 for leaking an NSA report on Russian interference in the 2016 United States elections to news site The Intercept, is released from prison.
It's just crazy to me how people who actually speak truth and people who actually are courageous enough to, I guess, out things that they feel like the general public should know, they're always either, threatened, the threat happens successfully, or they're imprisoned. It's just crazy to me. And I'm not saying this is because, don't get it twisted, I'm not saying specifically about this individual here. I'm just talking in general. Like, that's just how it usually goes down. Like, I'm not talking about this person specifically. I'm just saying in general, that's how it usually is treated.
Okay. A 12-story condominium apartment building in Southside, Florida partially collapses. At the official end of the search, which is coming in the next month, the death toll is 97. A pedestrian bridge on Interstate 295 collapses in Washington, D.C., injuring 5. Then Microsoft unveils Windows 11, the latest generation of its computer operating system.
I don't know why that was something that was so big when I was researching 2021, but I guess because, Apple came out with their M1s, then, maybe it's a situation where Windows kind of was like, let's up our game. I mean, like, Microsoft was like, let's up our game or something like that, but it was like a pretty big deal. So,
then 5 people are killed when a hot air balloon crashes into power lines in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
I never felt like it was safe to begin with, so it's not super surprising to me, because I don't feel like you have much control over it when you're out there. Like, you have zero control when you're skydiving, in my opinion, which is why I would never do it.
Former police officer Derek Chauvin is sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison for the murder of George Floyd. 22 and a half. Not enough. Then San Jose becomes the first city in the nation to mandate that gun owners both purchase liability insurance for their firearms and to pay an annual fee to cover costs to the city's services for gun-related injuries and deaths.
Okay, so San Jose, like, they ain't got the full picture, but they got some part of it. I don't know. They're working on something. Maybe, like, everybody needs to adopt some similar practice. Like,
an intentional controlled detonation of illegal... Oh, I remember when I heard this. But the intentional controlled detonation of illegal fireworks, by the Los Angeles Police Department in a busy neighborhood of South Los Angeles does not go as planned, injuring 17 people, including 10 LAPD officers, and damaging window cars and buildings.
Now, there's so many different things that's wrong with that whole situation. Number one, why are you, like, purposefully detonating illegal fireworks, in a busy neighborhood? Why not go to, like, an abandoned district, like an abandoned city. You know, don't they have like specific warehouses for that they could do that in? Like, why go to a busy neighborhood where you know people live, people are outside, children live there? Like, this is an inhabited neighborhood. Why not take it somewhere that's isolated from most people? Like, I don't understand. Like, don't they have specific areas in each city for things like this? Like, come on. Anyways, that really annoyed me when I watched that, because I was like, there was, and the other thing is, they said it was controlled. There was nothing controlled about that, because I'm pretty sure if it was controlled, then we would not have had, you know, the damage that was done, like, to both personal and property. Like, we just wouldn't. So that was a lie. That was a big lie. Okay.
Now we're in my month of July. Okay, I had to do my little dance. Okay, all my Julians. Hello. Okay. So this is my birth month. Like, y'all put in the comments what day you think I was born on in July. Just put in the comments.